In this episode, we take a look at a full-size, full-tang combat knife. Slash our way through some seatbelt. Yeah. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to another episode here at Gideon's Tactical. I am your host, Aaron. And like I said, we have a really cool blade that I've been looking at for a very long time. Now, the K-bar fighting utility knife has been a staple in the US military for years. It was what was issued to most soldiers during World War II and is an iconic tool. I have one, I love it. But there are some drawbacks to the design, one of which is that it is a thin, partial stick tang that is enclosed inside an either leather stacked or craton handle. Can barely fit this dang thing on screen, it's so big. Well, Tops has answered the call, and this is one of their earlier designs, has made the US combat knife. And this is gonna be a 1/4 inch thick, 1095, USA made, full tang combat knife. In that same kind of vein of the K-bar fighting utility knife, but taking away some of its weaknesses, some of its drawbacks, if you will. Not that it's not an iconic knife and has saved the world a couple times over, but taking what it is and then cranking it up a notch. So we're gonna see if it cranks it up into the level that makes it a better knife, or is this thing just too thick, too heavy, too cumbersome, and why use it? We're gonna answer that today. We'll run it up against that K-bar, show you some of the pros and cons, and show you what this knife can do. And for those of you who love combat knives, did we just find your Excalibur? All right, so here we are on our field top instead of tabletop, just to discuss this knife, break it down for us, really see what the US combat knife from Tops is producing. I do have our K-bar fighting utility knife that has, been synonymous with the US military for decades, because I will be making references to it throughout, and I just want to give us some food for thought as we are comparing. So right out of the gate, let's go ahead and jump into its blade, and what we are looking at is USA made 1095 high carbon steel. Tops is known for doing a great heat treat, really nice, kind of low saber grind, massive clip that is unsharpened but very large clip. 1/4 inch thick, and it does have that saber grind on there, and a really nice, I hope you guys can just kind of pick up on that, really nice relief edge. Really nice. Now that lends itself to be somewhat heavy at 17 ounces compared to the K-bar, which is 10 ounces, 10.5 ounces. So there's definitely a weight difference there in nimbleness and lightweight feel. So that is something that could either be a positive or a negative depending on how you plan on deploying and using the knife. But what we are looking at is also an overall blade length of 8 inches. On the original K-bar, it is 7 inches. So you are getting an extra inch of blade reach as well. And I was a little concerned about the grind angles, and I was like, man, is this just going to be like a sharpened pry bar at a 1/4 inch, that like no one is going to really enjoy using? It's just like for sticking stuff, and that's about it. Wrong. I was stunned at how well this performed in outdoor tasks because of the relief edge and just how they have, worked the knife. I could make feather sticks all day long with this, and actually is a more preferred tool than the original K-bar for outdoor tasks, for the weight that it has, the thickness that it has, but also the relief edge and grind angle. So for carving and whittling and that type of thing, now obviously a bushcraft knife, obviously like a full flat grind or a high saber grind with a thinner blade is better for that type of stuff. But if we're talking about combat knives, this one was surprisingly good. Easy to control, easy to maneuver, and really worked the carving and whittling side much better than I suspected it would. The chopping was decent for this, particularly this weight class. It would compete with any SE6 or BK7 or other Silent Hero from Tops. Those type of knives. It absolutely competes with those and can chop just as easily as any of those, and then split wood just as easy. Now it does have a large clip, so that will damage your batoning stick, but with a 7.5 inch cutting edge, 7.5 inch cutting edge, you can span a lot of wood. The 1/4 inch thick, the saber grind, I mean, it's going to slam right through wood in that capacity as well. So outdoor stuff was, when it comes to combat type of knives, this thing is absolutely better than most out there on the market in this kind of style. And definitely better from what I found than what a K-bar can produce in any of the things I just listed. Chopping, carving, whittling, and batoning. The US Combat will outperform it on every level because the tops doesn't have a, or excuse me, the K-bar doesn't have a lanyard hole and doesn't have the weight for chopping. It's much thinner than the Combat from tops, so it's not going to baton as well. And with the guard, the way it's designed on the K-bar, you just can't control the knife for finer cutting tasks as well as you can with the tops. So then on the flip side, you know, when it comes to stabbing, prying, you know, I did that in some wood just to give some feel for it. Fits really well, stabs really well, feels really good in the hand, really good traction, really locked into place. You're not gonna, you know, accidentally want to slide up and hurt yourself. All those things that we'll talk about with the handle here in just a little bit. The blade itself with that clip penetrates very nicely and has a lot of strength. And again, we'll have a stronger tip than what you would see on the K-bar. Just to give us some focus there, K-bar over here, tops over here. So much thicker, stronger durability for stabbing in that capacity. And then you know, I did a lot of like cordage, so paracord, seat belt, all those type of things, sliced right through them. So yeah, just super surprised with that. I would say the only real thing to consider would be actual hand-to-hand combat. I am not skilled in that, not trained in it, so I couldn't tell you that the weight, 7 ounces of extra weight, I mean, that is real, that is there. Arguably, it would probably hinder the quickness in the hand of hand-to-hand combat. So that is something that you need to consider with this knife. Now it has a good balance point right there by the guard. Really done well. Similar to the K-bar. The K-bar is actually a little further handle back. Right there. And then the tops is just right there on the guard. So things to consider, things to think about, but for majority of tasks, regardless if it was a combat situation or a survival situation, the US Combat knife is extremely high performance. All right, time to talk about the handle. And again, this is designed to be overbuilt, so take everything you know about K-bar fighting utility knife and then make it into a bulldozer, you know, an Abrams tank, and that's what we're kind of looking at with this design. So we're looking at micarta handle scales, bolted in, full tank construction with an exposed tank. So right away, strength is going to go to the tops over a K-bar. Now the K-bar has a stick tang out the back there, but it is, you know, 5/32 thick, and it's going to taper down and narrow out throughout the handle. And then you have either craton in my case or leather with the basically butt cap pinned in, and then the guard compressed in with either the leather or the craton. So that is not the case obviously with this. It's just bolted on the sides. If they ever loosen up, you tighten them back down, or if they were to crack, break, or fall off, you just wrap paracord around this bad boy and keep on trucking. You can't really do that with this. I have damaged one K-bar over the course of my life with getting stuff loosening up, and it's never fun to do that. You don't have to worry about it with this design. Now, from handle front to back is going to be 5 1/4 inches of actual micarta, and then it's 4 1/4 inches on a K-bar. So just take that in consideration. Still plenty of room on a K-bar here with my large size glove hands, as you guys know. Unless you're wearing mechanics gloves, I'm almost a medium in mechanics, but you can see they're much more real estate on the tops than on the K-bar. So large size hands I think are going to appreciate that, or extra large size hands, but a little bit narrower than the K-bar, so not quite as full, but very similar in thickness to the K-bar. Then you have those, you know, cut-ins to give you heavy traction. Similar, again, mimicking that design, just taking it to the next level basically. I was a little concerned with like chopping and hard grip cutting tasks that these ribs were just gonna like thrash my hand, because the transitions are somewhat abrupt. I mean, they are milled, don't get me wrong, but you know, it was a concern of mine. Didn't have any issue. A bare hand chopped it with this thing, carved, whittled, did everything, didn't thrash my hand, cause blisters or anything like that. You do have bow drill holes on either side of the micarta, so again, kind of focusing a little bit more on survival than maybe on combat than this guy is. So that's another added little bonus. You do have that lanyard hole, which again, this guy will not, so just more security in hand for either outdoor hacking, chopping, or if you just want to keep the knife in your hand in combat, something there. Then you do have an exposed kind of striker, I wouldn't say pry bar because it's a 1/4 inch thick, but you know, striker, breaker, non-lethal, whatever you want to call it, back there on the pommel. Nice rounded top and bottom guard, obviously not as high from what I can tell as on the K-bar, just a little bit lower. And then because it's more natural in its contouring, it doesn't feel painful when you are, you know, getting in there doing feather sticks. It does have a small ricasso that I can get my finger on, and I'm not really worried about nicking. It's not a full choil. I would have liked to see that just a hair bigger. You could easily, you know, just take a little grinder or something and grind off maybe a little 1/4 of the edge, and then you'd have a full-blown choil right there, which would just add to the outdoor capability. So totally dig in the handle, and for more of heavy-duty, harder outdoor survival tasks, as well as any sort of grip for a combat grip or anything like that, the US combat knife from Tops is killing it. All right, we'll hit sheath options here real quick for you. Now, standard, the knife is going to come with this nylon sheath that, as you guys have seen, been watching the channel for any period of time, pretty cruddy, barely gets the job done, just nylon, you know, polymer insert, pocket, molly on the back, belt loop, really loud, rattles around a lot, and is just not, doesn't do the knife justice. The positive is that Tops does have, and I believe this is the sheath from their, I think, pig sticker, which is a very similar knife, but this knife perfectly adapts into it, and they do sell these separately for, I think, about $40 to $45. You would just need to contact Tops, and they said they do, you know, you can just purchase just the leather sheath, or of course you can go out and get Kydex. You know, AZ Welke's a great company. We'll have links over there as well if you do either already own this knife or are looking for a good Kydex manufacturer when purchasing this knife. AZ Welke is a great option to send the blade over. And so just real quick with the leather one, because this is the way I carry it, fold over snap. I mean, it is locked into place, nice belt loop, good, you know, leg attachment, all of that snaps open. You pull the blade out. Now it's righty only, but for me as a righty, it works really, really well, and I'm very happy with it, and does the knife much more justice than the nylon. All right, let's go ahead and talk price point. This would not be a bad blade to have on your hip if you're going to Jurassic Park. Something to think about there the next time you guys go visit the theme park. But anyway, now this guy's gonna go for about $160. Amazon Blade HQ, thank you guys for using those hyperlinks that we offer to you in the description below. Really helps me get out here, make the content that you see in this video and every video that we produce. We get the small kickback. You guys get to just help support the channel for free. It's free for you, helps us out and continue to do what we do. So 160 bucks, very similar to most 1095 USA made knives that are out there with this level of like micarta and fit and finish and all those things, and very similar to most Tops knives with that type of steel. So very doable and a great price point compared to what else is out on the market. Now, I was speaking with Tops, and they did send this over to us to test out and review for you guys and give you the feedback that I'm seeing with the design, pros and cons. And I was speaking to them because originally when this first was released years ago, it came only with a partial serrated blade. Now they do have the option for plain edge, which is awesome. Now, right now that's over on the Tops website. They are shipping, you know, in Amazon, you know, stores and Blade HQ and other, you know, knife company stores will have plain edge versions. It's just a matter of time if they don't have it already. So if you're not seeing a plain edge version on your local sites and you're just seeing the serrated, just either contact the distributor or just, you know, wait and check back, and they will start having these available with both serrated and the plain edge, from what I understand talking with the Tops guys and what they're telling me. So or you can just go on over to the Tops website. You can get some extra custom stuff. You can get a camo coating if you want. You can pick plain edge, serrated. So there's different things you can do on the Tops site as well. So again, if you're only seeing partially serrated right now, just stay tuned, and the distributors should be getting the plain edges very soon if they have not already. So yeah, guys, but check those out, and don't forget about our knockaround sunglass link as well. That's another free way, simple way to help support the channel. Just use those hyperlinks, takes you over there. They got sunglasses for the entire family, and we love them here at the channel, so check those out as well. Thank you always for your awesome support. Well, folks, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I got to tell you, I am enjoying and loving this knife, and I'm surprised, you know, at a 1/4 inch thick with more of a, you know, combat dagger-esque you know, style of blade and the weight, I was kind of concerned. I was like, man, this is going to probably be kind of cumbersome. It's probably not going to cut very well, and it's really just like for stabbing bad guys. But this is a very formidable tool, not only for stabbing bad guys, but also for any other task that you may need. Absolutely capable. Now, I know a lot of soldiers out there, that's for about a pound that this thing weighs. That's a lot of weight to consider compared to carrying ammo and other medical supplies and water. So that is something that you have to weigh. But man, there's nothing for this thing to go wrong, nothing to loosen up, nothing to begin to rattle inside, and just going to give you an extra level of thickness and strength that you're not going to get with a lot of other combat knives out there in general, and particularly knives like the K-bar fighting utility knife. So thank you so much for coming over here today. I hope you've enjoyed this video showing you what this blade can do and its shocking capabilities in almost every task. Check us out on all the relevant social media. That's a great way to see what's up and coming, projects we're working on. Please subscribe if you're not a current subscriber, throwing out videos like this every single week. You current subscribers rock. Thank you so much. Don't forget about the mailbag. Put hashtag mailbag again below if you want to get involved in the conversation. You might get your questions answered in an upcoming video. Do not forget also about the Gideon's Tactical Show going up every weekend. We throw it up. It's completely different, not gear reviews. We discuss, we have fun, we have different topics we look into, news of the week, different conversations, all kinds of really cool, fun stuff. So check that out, going up live every single week as well. And finally, guys, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.